Welcome in to the Point to Post podcast. I'm your point guard, Toby Miller, with the postman in a snapback hat covering the shaved head, Eric Sweet. Sweet, I'm going to kick this off by yelling at you right away.
Whoa!
You realize, you realize that I have spies in the Oak Harbor basketball program. Like, Huron basketball has infiltrated the Rockets program, and I have gotten word that you are playing 3-on-3 and 5-on-5 with first graders at youth camp, because that's what we're going to talk about today is youth basketball camp. I want to give you a second to defend yourself because that seems pretty inexcusable to me.
What do you want me to do? Play 6-on-6? Old school 1960s women's basketball, 3 on offense, 3 on defense, and we go back and forth with the basketball. So 6-on-6, that's what we'll do next year at Oak Harbor basketball camp. We did not play 5-on-5. We did do a lot of 3-on-3. Kids got to play, man. They got to learn how to dribble and pass and be a teammate.
See, this is great because we're going to have very different philosophies in terms of like what we do for our youth camps, which is our topic for today, youth basketball camps. So, Sweet, I want to give you the floor. You're talking a little bit about, yes, they do have to learn how to play. Yes, they do have to learn how to become better teammates. Do you want to expand upon what you're kind of doing at youth camp with your young guys?
So, first I want to start with, and I think you grew up this way too, as being coach or being sons of coaches. We went to a lot of youth camps in our days. Back when we were growing up, University of Findlay had a huge week-long youth camp. You spent the night there. I did that for multiple summers. I went to my dad's youth camp, Iowa Glandorf, all the time, obviously, because he was the head coach. So youth camp is something I've been around, and you've been around for years upon years and years. And there's a lot of different philosophies with it, like you said. With my little kids and the grades of 1, 2, and 3, we separate them and we go early. We only go for an hour and a half with them. I just think they're too young to stay focused for much longer than that. I think the elementary teachers can contest to that throughout the course of the school year. So we do a lot of skill work, man. We get the ball in their hands, do a lot of dribbling. We at Oak Harbor have rims that we can lower down. So we actually have rims at like 8.5 feet for our first graders. So that helps them learn how to shoot. That's nice. Stuff like that. It's awesome. And then, yes, we do play 3-on-3 at the end of camp. My high school kids are there, and we try to control it as best we can. But they got to learn, man, how to play defense and how not to travel. And like you stop and talk, and the little kids like run behind the rim and Toby, throw me the ball. Toby, throw me the ball. It's like, no, you have to come so they can see you. We can't just throw these, I call grenades, where you just throw them over top of the defense and hope that your teammate catches it. And it's also funny, man, to watch these kids. Like, you see in first and second and third grade, this is so sad to say, but you see like these clicks of like, I'm not going to pass the ball to this kid. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that here. Like, we stop and we talk about those things, about being good teammates. So we do use 3-on-3, but we do it as a coaching tool. And we try to control it and organize it at a time. But, yeah, that's our 1, 2, and 3 camp. We'll talk 4, 5, 6 here in a minute. But I'm getting yelled at to start this podcast off, man.
That's right. And I do want to clarify something, Sweet. And I love you to death. But you said elementary schools can contest to this. What you mean is attest to this. And, you've been doing this for like 3 podcasts now. I just want to clarify for the people that, the grammar police, that Sweet means well in what he's saying. We all understand what he's saying, but we want to make sure the audience understands what he's saying as well. I like the reference to the grenades. The thing is, we still see our fair share of grenades at the high school level. So it's funny to see it with the younger kids. And like, I saw a lot of grenades this year, to be honest with you too. Sweet. So your age range is different than the age range that I do. Okay. So I do 4th, 5th, and 6th in the morning, and then I do 7th and 8th after that in the late morning. Okay. So you're doing it for all elementary. Do you do anything for your middle school? Because I don't do anything for 1 through 3. I just start them in 4th grade.
Yeah. So I actually tried a couple years. I actually brought in kindergartners for a while. And I won't lie. Like, part of it was when my kids were coming through, I thought I'd try it. It was not a good experience. Kindergartners are a little too young. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade is definitely hard if your rims don't go down. I mean, me being able to go to 8 feet or 9 feet on multiple rims makes that camp more enjoyable for those kids. So that's also why I do it too. Having 10-foot rims for those age levels is really hard to have a fun camp because they want to shoot the ball. Like, let's not lie about it. Like, you can only dribble and pass and defensive slides and play tag or play dribble knockout as much as possible, but they want to shoot the ball. So with me having the ability to lower the rims, that's helped out. Actually, when I first got here, I had our ag department build me 2 8-foot rims that I had to put together and put like 45-pound weights on the back end of it so I could do these camps. I then do a 4, 5, 6, 7 camp. I kind of throw them all together, knowing that my 4, 5, and 6 are at one end, and then my 7, 8 are at the other end. I like doing it because, our league that I was in with you and now my new league, our 4th and 5th and 6th graders do play competitive league basketball games. So I try to make that 4th grade year at camp feel as much of a practice and try to get them ready for that wintertime games as possible. So yeah, I do go all the way up to 8th grade. It depends on my 8th grader. Sometimes I have really good numbers. 7th grader, sometimes I have really good numbers. Depends on the year, but I do go 1 through 8 basically for my summertime.
I think it's important to have hands-on with the middle school grade levels because I feel like the middle school age level is the one that gets out of touch because they're the hardest for us to go and see, or at least that's what I've experienced. Because during the week you're prepping for your games, you have practice going on. Usually they play on like Thursdays, and that's the day before your game. It's hard to get there. Whereas the younger kids, they're Saturday, Sunday mornings. Half the time we're running it. So we're there. It's very easy to see and just say something to a kid like, oh, good box out there, to establish some sort of relationship and remind them of the things that you're teaching them in the camps all the way up. My camps are a little bit different. My biggest thing with my camps is I just want the kids to have an enjoyable experience and be fired up and have fun with the game of basketball, because my philosophy is ultimately, yes, we can do D slides for 2 days in the summer, but if you do D slides 2 days in the summer, they're not going to be fired up to go home and practice D slides. They're just
Correct.
not. But if you do something fun, they're going to ask mom or dad to go out in the driveway and shoot and do that with them. And then you get the ball in their hands, and ultimately you get a better player once they get up to you at the high school level. I don't think kids are ready to play in an unorganized setting until middle school. I don't start 3-on-3, 5-on-5 until middle school. 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we do basically like skills challenges. So what we do is we have 4 drills or 4 awards that they compete against each other for at their respective age level. We have a speed dribble, we have a knockout, we have a hot shot, we have a free throw. And at the beginning of camp, every day of camp, we do some fundamental stuff, maybe some drills we do at the varsity level just to give them a little taste. And then we go right into practicing those 4 camp awards. What are some good things to do? They get to watch the older kids do it once, and they get to practice. They can know what numbers they need to get to win that award. And then the next day we call championship, whatever day of the week it is. So this year it was Championship Tuesday. Same type setting. They know that at the beginning we're going to do some drills, do some fundamentals, and then we're going to get right into it. One thing that I instituted this year was you're only allowed to win the first 2 awards. So when you have that one dominant kid in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade that's way better than everyone, I don't want him winning every single award. And he doesn't get to pick which awards he gets if he wins all 4, because then he can choose whichever second place kid he wants to get that award. So it's the first 2 that you win. He still participates in the other 2, but if he were to win them, the second place kid gets it. And I was really – go ahead.
What were your 4 awards again? Speed dribbling?
We got speed dribble, we got knockout, we got sudden death free throw, and we got hot shot.
When you say knockout, you talking about the traditional
traditional
line?
Knockout. Oh yeah, and it's super intense. We tell them there's no touching anybody else's ball.
Oh yeah.
You step over the line, you're out. We got the kids that are out are watching that line, hoping the kid that they don't like steps on it, and then they start freaking out. Oh, coach, he stepped on the line. He stepped on the line.
All right, I want to get into hot shot, because this is the ultimate game for every youth camp. I remember doing it as a kid. My freshman coach came to camp yesterday with me, and we started doing hot shot, and he looked right at me. He's like, Coach, this was my favorite drill when I was coming through. And everybody does it. Everybody has a small twist on it. I ultimately love it because Do you put time on the clock for your hot shot?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so the countdown happens, and then the bing bongs come out.
Yeah.
Kids, I let them fire it. Don't care. We are jacking threes, giving them points. The hot shot is the event of camp. I swear on it every year. It's the most fun for all the kids. They love to try to hit that buzzer beater. So walk me through how you do your hot shot, then I'll tell you how I do mine.
So we go minute 15, I believe it is. Okay. You can shoot one layup from each block. You get one attempt. Okay. If you make it, you get a point for each layup, and then you can't go back to the block again. So there's some strategy on when you take your free 2 points. Some kids like to do it right away. Some kids do it after they've missed a couple shots. Some kids do it at the end. So you can do that. Then you can shoot as many elbow jump shots as you want. So the 2 elbows, okay, those are worth 2. And then you can shoot a top of the key 3 worth 3. And the only rule, you get unlimited shots in the triangle, that triangle. So the elbow, top of the key 3. You cannot shoot from the same spot twice. So you have to move it. And what we do is on the day that we practice, everybody just goes once. But on award day, Championship Tuesday, I take the top 3 scores, and then they all go at the same time in the championship round. That way the kids get really excited. So like one kid dropped a 30 ball in the first round, then got to the championship round and only hung a 12 and ended up losing the award. And we had some tears there, but it's a good time, man. How do you run your hot shot?
Is that the way you've ran it, like coming up through school? Is that kind of the traditional way you saw it when you came through as a kid? Like
my dad did it a little differently. My dad I'm pretty sure he let you take unlimited layups for 1 point. And I never liked that because there were the kids that would just pound layups back. Yeah, back like, right like this. And I'm like, that's not really hot shot. So tweaked it a little bit. Heidelberg did it a little bit differently. They had like 5 spots you could shoot from, and then they instituted a bonus, which I kind of liked if you shot from every single spot. So everyone does it a little bit differently.
The bonus is something I've done a couple different camps. So you give them 5 spots. If they hit all of them, they get a bonus. I learned in my early years, I tried to do that. Then my high school kids would always screw that up. And so I just got rid of the bonus because it was just, they couldn't remember if they hit all the, and for me, it was always, you had to make all the shots at every spot. I've done it differently in all my years, man. This year, I kind of liked it the best. I basically took 4 cones at like 12 feet and made an arc. And then you have the 3-point arc, and then you have layups. And so layups are worth 1. If you shoot anywhere in the 12 to 15 foot arc, that's 2 points. And anywhere on the 3-point line is 3. And then I implemented that you can only take 2 layups at a time. So if you shoot a 3 and then you miss it and you can rebound it, you can do 2 quick layups and then go shoot a 2 and shoot it and then 2 quick layups. It keeps them moving. And then I also talked to them about, like, if you catch the ball. And the other reason I opened it up because a lot of times the ball bounces over to like the right corner. And then they have to dribble all the way back to the elbow. I want them just to keep shooting. Like, I don't care where you shoot it at. I want the ball up in the air. I want you to be firing shots off at a rapid pace because it's the best game like you can make it. Like making hot shot, these kids get into it and they shoot faster and they get after it. And it's game-like. It really is. It's like, they don't slow down and really focus on, I mean, you want them to focus on their form, but you want them to have that energy and hurriness to it. And so that's how we did it this year at camp. You could shoot 3s anywhere, 2s at 12 foot, and then 1-point layups. And I'm pretty sure that every single kid in the last 3 seconds dribbled out to the top of the arc, set their feet, looked at the clock, and they were trying to bing bong it all day long. And I had a couple, and every time a kid would hit one, the whole group would scream and go nuts. And the kid ended up with like 7 points. It wasn't even in the race, but they didn't care. They hit the shot at the end of the buzzer, and that's all that mattered. So very similar to yours, but like I said, I opened it up this year just to try to get more shots up and let kids just kind of have the freedom to shoot anywhere they want to, just to see multiple looks at the rim, I guess.
I like that you opened it up a little bit. Here's my problem. I'm always crunched for time because we do these 4 awards. So like if you want to get anything accomplished at the beginning, it's got to be quick and concise. Like actually teach them something real quick, first 20 minutes or so. And then if you got to get all these kids through all these awards, The reason I keep him at the top of the key is the rebounding is easy for my coaches because I have a high school kid at each basket. So it's not really going to carry them way off one direction if you're shooting straight on. It's pretty easy for them to be there, rebound it, get it right back to them. Because if you start moving around, you got a kid that airball shoots a 15-foot shot, 22 feet, and all of a sudden you got a ball bouncing into another kid's basket and this and that. So that was my reasoning behind that. But overall, I like yours.
And I did try it. I think we did, and I do it, and I guess bored a little bit, and I change it like almost daily sometimes. We did it like the day before. We did have a high school kid rebound it and kick it out and do things like that. One day our hot shot was just kind of our around the world. Like we just did 12-foot jump shots all the way around. And so like a high school kid rebound, the kid just shot 2 shots every, the corner, the elbow, corner, and they just kept going back and forth. So there was no layups and there was no 3-pointers. It was just strictly 15-foot jumpers. So that was hot shot one day. We also do a layup contest where they just like dribble weave and just keep doing right hand and left hand layups. And it's like, I do that one because I want them to, and then it came, I go, guys, you can do these like these competitions we do at home. Like you said, we want it to be fun because I want them to go home and be like, hey, Dad, time me on hot shot. And if they do it a couple of times, and I told them that, I go home and do hot shot on your own and then try to beat yourself and then write your score down and have your mom or dad and see if you can beat them. Like, just get in the driveway and get some chalk out and write on the ground and have fun with it. And that's why I do those competitions. And I try to do things that, like you said, they can do at home and have fun doing it.
I think that's ultimately, in order to have a successful kids camp, that's the way you got to do it. You just have to get them excited about basketball enough to put a basketball in their own hands. Yeah. Sweet. One thing that we did that was a staple at the beginning of camp that you're going to love, we instituted a new shooting drill called Bing Bong shooting. So yeah, I know you're going to like this. So just 5 spots around the arc, depending on their age level. It was either 12, 15, or the older kids, we shot 3. Yeah. But all it was 5 spots, okay? You have to make 2 in a row. So when the kid shoots it, it's a team game. So we got like 4 kids at a basket. Ball goes in. First one goes in. The whole team yells, bang. Next kid goes up. He makes it. Bing bong. Move to the next spot. So there was a lot of bangs, a lot of bongs. I got a nice video. That was the most energy that we had in the entire camp was they were asking, are we going to do bing bong shooting today? So I knew you'd like that. Yeah, they loved it. Everyone yelling bing bong. Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
And then the other story I want to get in before I turn it over to you again is I think it's important to have something that recognizes the kids that are maybe at a little bit lower level than some of the other kids. 'Cause a lot of times if kids don't have parents who have a basketball background or athletic background and they're trying to get into it, they're just completely clueless at these things. And it's not their fault. I mean, they just never had the guidance or the direction to do it. So one thing that you have to keep in mind, especially coming from an educator's background, both of us, these kids are self-aware. They know if they're not good. They know if they are good, and you have to be able to monitor that and make sure everyone feels included. So I had a kid who only made 2 shots on hot shot. He made 0 shots the first 2 days. And on the second day, after missing, he's probably shot 50 shots, didn't make one. He started crying, a little 4th grader. And he's like, he's like, I don't like being not very good. And I said, all you can do is try your best, buddy. But what we do at the end of camp is I get Gatorades out. I buy them at the gas station before, and I give out a camper of the day every day. And I try to give it to a kid who just had a good attitude. He's doing everything that we ask him to. Someone that just deserves a little bit of recognition. So I gave that kid that had the rough go on hot shot camper of the day. He went home, told his mom about it. His mom was all fired up about it. He was all fired up about it. He went home and practiced his hot shot. And then on competition day, he made 2 shots. And because he got that recognition of camper of the day, the whole camp was so excited when he made those 2 shots because they knew his name and knew who he was because he got that recognition. Do you do anything kind of like that?
So, awards is something I wanted to talk to you about because I think I saw on Twitter and stuff that you actually do physical like awards or medals and things of that sort, don't you?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. See, at the Rocket Camp and the Dave Suite learning session back in the day, we keep it pretty simple in the suites, and we buy candy bars, we buy 2 liters of pop, we buy Gatorades, and that's what you win. And so
That's how you make post players right there.
What's that?
That's how you make post players right there.
um, I vividly remember me and my dad were just talking about summer camp, the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, one year, so and so walked out with 3 2 liters of Mountain Dew because back then they were 99 cents a 2 liter. So my dad would buy 30 of them, and that's what we passed out every day at end of camp was candy bars and 2 liters. And so I've kind of carried that on, and we have candy bars and bottles of Gatorade that we pass out. So I don't do a camper of the day thing. I've done it in the past a couple of times. But a lot of times I just draw names out of a hat and I buy enough stuff that I know by the end of the week, everybody's kind of gotten something, because it is when one kid or 4 or 5 kids kind of dominate these competitions, the ones that don't win it do feel bad. And so I don't try to make it such a big deal about the winners of it. I just call their names up and say, congratulations. And then just keep pulling names out of a hat and let kids go grab a candy bar and a Gatorade. Because at the end of the day, like, they all got the same thing. And so I don't do medals. I've never done a certificate, anything like that. So we've done the camper of the day a couple of times, but end of the day, I just draw names out and just try to pass out as much candy and Gatorade as I can to make everybody smile and happy. And most of the time I succeed at it, and that's all I really care about. But what you did is also, I've done that and I've seen that been done awesome too. So that's great.
How can you not be happy and excited when Coach Sweet's smiling, handing you a candy bar? That beautiful, beautiful smile, shaved head.
The worst, I passed out too much candy and too much Gatorade I ran out, and so I sent my freshman coach. I go, "Hey, go to the store and get me some more Gatorade and candy bars." And I go, "The candy bars are like 5 for $5. Give me like 15 of them. Like, I just load me up. Let's go." He comes back. And I show him what I have. I have like Reese Cups and Butterfingers and Hershey, like staple candy bars.
Yeah.
He comes back with Heath candy bars.
Oh, come on.
Almond Joys. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
Coach Ish, you're better than that.
These are 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, and you're getting them Almond Joys? Like, what is, like?
Should have sent Han. Han wouldn't have messed that up.
Oh, no.
Han.
No. Han backed him up. He goes, "I like all those candy bars." I'm like, "Get out of here. We're not doing this. We're not doing this." Hey, quick story though. Back in the day when I was a young kid, like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we went to Finley team camp, our Finley individual camp. And I don't know, did you ever attend that in your years growing up?
They were pretty much done with that when I was doing it. I did like Ohio Northern was the one that.
Yeah, I went to that one too. That was awesome. Yeah. So Finley camp was week long. You spent the night as a kid. You overnight for Monday through Friday. My dad obviously worked it because he was one of the coaches, but we stayed. He'd go home. You want to talk about ultimate competition. Finley back in the day, so you got your Finley basketball camp shirt. They then had like orange camp shirts that say tournament champions on the back. So the last day when you had 5-on-5 tournament championship, you were cutthroat. Then on top of that, they had all-star T-shirts that were black that said all-star on the back. Dude, I think I got into multiple fights at Finley basketball camp because I wanted to win all these shirts. Like, I wanted to come home with 8 shirts of everything, tournament champs, 3-on-3 champs, all-star. I just remember that as a kid. Like, I always thought that was the coolest thing when they called the all-stars up and they got to hold their shirt up and it said all-star in the back. And like, everybody got a camp shirt, but you wanted that all-star shirt or that tournament champion shirt. That was something I always thought about implementing in my camps, but it was just like, it's a different level. Let's just say that, because
I was going to say that
you get after it. And that was,
you can get away with that at the college camps when you got multiple. Yeah.
Yeah. With multiple schools are coming in.
Multiple schools.
Yeah.
Usually you got the high level kids. That might be a little too exclusionary for us at Huron and Oak Harbor camps, but Sweet, you want to get us out of here?
Yeah, I do, man. Summer basketball. I don't know, man. We talked about the last 2 posts, our podcast here. We talked about high school. Now we talked about biddies. Summer's fun. It goes by fast. We enjoy it as coaches. It's a good time just to be with your players and everything like that. And so hopefully you enjoyed us talking about summer here on the Point to Post podcast. I'm your post player, Eric Sweet, with point guard Toby Miller. Every post player, go become a point guard. And every point guard, remember, go post up a little bit.
Hot shot bing bongs.